superb matchmaking here. 25 versus 27, just an inch in it, but look at those records. 6 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 6 wins and 1 loss. Perfect matchmaking, perfect match here for BAMMA 25. Let's go to Buddy Johnson to get this one going.
Ladies and gentlemen, BAMMA 25 right here at the Barclaycard Arena. We get ready for 3 5-minute rounds in the professional lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at 155.6 pounds. He has a record of 6 wins with 2 losses and 1 draw. Fighting out of Cape Town, South Africa, Xavier Sedras. And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. This man stands 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighed in at 156.8 pounds. He has a record of 6 wins with 1 loss and 0 draw. Fighting out of Coatbridge, Scotland, Chris, the bad guy, Bungard. When the action begins, your referee in charge, Daniel Movahedi.
Oh boy, Chris, this one has got me excited. This is possibly the most intriguing matchup on the card. 2 very unorthodox men. Anything can happen in this bout.
The exceptional Xavier Sedras, whose debut on BAMMA has been a long time coming, welcomes fellow newcomer from Scotland, Chris Bungard, another high-velocity fighter who loves to finish fights in style, Malcolm, but it's Sedras who's on top to kick it off tonight in Birmingham.
That's right, Chris, and the thing here with both these men, as we said, they're unorthodox. Bungard accepts that Sedras is unpredictable, he said, but so am I. But if we look at Xavier Sedras, who we know well, we could be looking at an unbeaten fighter. Both his losses were split decisions, controversial split decisions.
24 years old and always improving. The young man from Cape Town, South Africa, though, on top and working hard here to try to pass the guard of Bungard. Bungard very capable on the mat as well as in the upright. The Scottish Hit Squad teammate here. You can look at Paul Craig, the world champ in the corner there, all the way to the right there in the corner, giving advice to Bungard to try and regain here an open guard as he sits up, but Sedras very, very wily. A young man, but a veteran in his own right.
That's right, Chris, and for both these men, this is a huge opportunity here. Bungard, as we know, well known in Scotland, the training partner of BAMMA veteran now, Paul Craig. He's been in the corner for Paul Craig. He knows the atmosphere, he knows the setup, but we've seen Sedras before as well. Also, alongside Jimmy Johnson, we got Phil Norman's Ghost System, a very experienced campaigner with great cornering.
Phil also there in the corner tonight. Bungard working very hard to try to get his left knee back in between his chest and Sedras. You can see him now trying to work there to get maybe a lockdown, but Sedras doing a great job of pummeling and controlling the hips, trying to release his right leg out of that half guard somehow, and the elbows will certainly cause some confusion to assist that maneuver.
Well, that's the thing with him. The man does confuse, but what people also forget when they talk about his unorthodox nature, is the nature of his striking, is how patient he is as well.
Extremely. He took out, in my opinion, one of the very best guys at this weight in the United Kingdom, Daniel Crawford, not long ago in spectacular fashion.
Now, hang on a second, Chris. We're looking at the back of the head here, possibly. A bit of controversy, maybe. Sedras looking over, and he's not happy, but
it'd be interesting to get another angle on that in the replay, but the most important thing to consider there was how Bungard was playing half guard. And in that position, when he's trying to work in deeper underneath the legs of Sedras, if Sedras is in the middle of throwing a strike, sometimes those things can go astray. Clearly, Bungard unwell here.
Yes,
our medical staff checking if he's able to continue.
And Sedras is saying, look, show the camera, show the camera. Sedras is worried here.
And referee in charge, Daniel Movahedi, rightly calling a halt to the action here to allow an assessment. Bungard looks to be recovering here. But we're going to have to take a look and see how the decision materializes. Bungard back on his feet, and we'll get an assessment here of his suitability. Obviously, safety, #1 concern here in BAMMA. Sedras stalking, looking intent here. Going to get a very stern warning from Daniel Movahedi. And that won't be a warning, that will be a point deduction. There may have been a verbal warning during that actual encounter. Clearly, Xavier Sedras unhappy. How this will affect the fight, we're gonna have to see.
I'm glad you said that, because despite his unhappiness, Chris Bungard still looks very shaken. He still looks very unsteady here. And Sedras is now fired up, feels a bit hard done by there. I'm not saying he is, but this will be very interesting to see how this pans out now, because it's certainly upped the tempo of this bout by 100%.
You can see Sedras showing some of that crazy movement on the feet. Bungard thinking about the single leg. Sedras disengages. Both men are so capable in all realms of MMA. That I cannot stress enough. And in recognition, Bungard was very vocal. He said, look, I'm expecting the hardest fight of my career. I will have to overcome adversity. But I'm confident come fight night. And that, to me, is something he's going to need to dig deep here, Malcolm.
He is, Chris, because he did also say that he believes that lightweight is such a stacked division here at BAMMA. And as you said, but paying Sedras respect, he said, I'm not looking at anything except trying to get past this man.
A separation from the third man in the ring, the gentleman, Daniel Mobahidi. Now Sedras initiates the clinch. And it's just so interesting to see both fighters try to unsettle and destabilize each other in these positions. Look at that.
The shoulder there from Sedras. But he's got a mountain now, because if Bungard recovers, this is Bungard's round because of that point deducted, whichever way you look at it.
And you can see Sedras thinking about intercepting there from southpaw. Beautiful possible sweep attempt there. Dropping down was Bungard, but Sedras so crafty. As I said, we've seen in several recent performances his ability to read his opponents and learn in the fight and usually secure late finishes. So it makes this an absolutely thrilling matchup against the highly touted Bungard.
Yeah, some chopping elbows there, some ground and pound attempts from Sedras. How much mentally that will have upset him, we don't know. It certainly fired him up. The pace increased from that warning dramatically, didn't it, Chris?
Certainly, and the concern from the corner as well at the guard work of Bungard, although threatening Sedras, not really close to any submission attempts yet.
Good ground and pound attempts here from Sedras. He knows he's got that point deduction, looking to still finish inside 30 seconds.
Up kick, that one clipped Sedras. Absolutely hit him on the chin there. That was a nice one from Bungard, but now Xavier turns to his back, fishing with the seatbelt for a possible choke attempt here.
He hasn't got long left to do it, Chris. He's got to really work quickly if he's going to.
Looking to work that control of his left arm underneath the chin and around the back of the right shoulder. But Bungard doing a great job of hand fighting and turning to try and escape, but the clock is going to be on his side.
It is indeed. But what an intriguing opening round from these two men.
What an absolutely compelling matchup here at BAMMA 25. I believe we had a little bit of time added there based upon the stoppage and halt for the referee to inspect things, but that's the end of the round, and what a thrilling one it was, Mal.
Now, Chris, if we look at it overall, Sedras was in control until that controversial moment, and Bungard looked genuinely stunned. Sedras looked worried, and here we go.
Taking a look here, you see Bungard looking to try to play deep half here. You see that? And that's what I was talking about coming in. And that's certainly, absolutely an illegal shot. It's a great call from Daniel Mobahidi. And the problem is when you're in half guard, you want to sink in close underneath your opponent. In doing so, you have to get that much more of an adjustment in your posture. Turning that way, expose the back of his head. That certainly was an illegal blow. And obviously, Sedras paid with a point deduction.
Now, that said, he recovered well and had that last 30 seconds where he was really looking for that rear naked.
Speaking of recovery, Bungard looks composed as well here. Getting some advice there from the Scottish Hit Squad. Phoenix MMA in the corner, making some adjustments to Sedras. Let's see what goes down.
Well, when we saw the tail of the tape, these men are perfectly poised in every sense. Their records, their techniques, and the opportunity. I can't stress enough how meaningful this bout is for both these men.
Especially in their debut. Bungard looking to spin there, but Sedras now maneuvers to his back. A very tactical adjustment. I think the Phoenix team are going to look to try to get back in there again. They found some success late in the first there.
I agree with you, and I think Bungard will be annoyed that he's in this position so early in the round. As you said, he recovered well, but now he's right back up against it.
And I love that we're seeing the improved wrestling and control. The way that Sedras is riding him, you see how he's got one hook in and actually uses his instep over the left shin of his opponent. That keeps the weight down, that keeps him from rolling out. And Sedras is a monster in there right now. Those ground and pound shots are hurtful.
Now, we said he's unorthodox, but he's shown as well that he's technical and can be very patient and take his time and slowly dismantle an opponent.
That's exactly what's going down right now. Bungard in an absolutely terrible position. Xavier thinking about possibly an arm lock or a Kimura here, but most importantly, he's retaining position throughout these exchanges. And that to me is very important because a guy like Bungard is always going to be dangerous.
And the thing here, as you said, it's not only about the way he retains position, it's the smooth nature of the transitions. You get the feeling he knows he's thinking 2-3 moves ahead here.
It's astonishing to watch. You see, on one hand, sometimes a game plan, and on the other hand, as I highlighted earlier about Sedras in recent years, it's the learning, it's the analysis that occurs within the fight. And throughout this, he's really been able to fluster and stuff most of Bungard's offense.
Now, the exciting thing about Xavier is really he's done most of his learning under the radar. People in the know have always rated him, haven't they? But it's been, to be fair to him, it has been under the radar really nationally, hasn't it?
And you see a grueling pace like this between two such capable men, and it's all the more impressive. I mean, all credit to Bungard for defending these positions and certainly making it interesting for Xavier, but a lot of what we saw in round one with controlling the grappling exchanges and maintaining dominant, threatening positions, that accolade has to go to Xavier Sedras.
Exactly, and while I admire the conditioning of Bungard, Xavier's kept his weight on him, he's kept him tight, he's kept him working. The amount of pressure Chris Bungard has been under throughout this second round must take its toll.
It's ask questions and cause trouble. There we go. That would be the choke attempt. Going palm to palm there. That looks really deep now. That might be it. If Sedras can get a good squeeze here and apply it very slowly, look at, would you see the Bungard composure though in hand fighting there. 2-on-1, will it be enough?
Well, there's so much at stake here, you can't fault him, but it's looking, he's checking here very closely, the gentleman, and it's all over. He refused to tap, but the gentleman made the decision for him. Xavier Sedras is no longer under the radar, Chris.
What Budo spirit, though, from Bungard. The rhythm, though, from Sedras, pushing him to the limit, so impressive. That unorthodox grappling style, the controlling, the wrestling, the aggression, the surprise factor when he was on the back to sneak in that arm under. He tried that exact same technique in round one. It paid off in spades here in round two. Take a look at the replay. Here we go. Sedras on the back, right underneath the neck, grips the back of the shoulder. The very same technique I highlighted in round one, and then gets his squeeze on.
It's when he gets this twist as well that you feel that it's all over. But as you said, what Budo spirit from his opponent, because Dan Mulvaney had to make the decision for him. That's how much it meant to both these men, Chris. With
a look and a finger pointing, I told you so, the level of pressure, too much for Bungard. Xavier Sedras goes 1-0 here at BAMMA 25.
This bout ended 2 minutes 58 seconds of the second round. Your winner by rear naked choke in the blue corner, Xavier Sedras.